Okay, these are the notes for factoring polynomials with a greatest common factor. So you guys are going to see GCF, and what that stands for is greatest common factor. I, a lot of times, like to say greatest common factor is what something has in common with something else. What's the most that they have in common, whether it's x's or y's or a number or whatever. So when you go to factor something, this would be a binomial, 6x plus 3. What we're looking for is between these two terms, 6x and 3, start number-wise. What's the highest number that I could pull out or they have in common? So in other words, with 6 and 3, what number they have in common is a 3. So I can pull out a 3. And then technically what you're really doing is pulling that 3 out or dividing that 3 by both of these terms. So if I were to take the first term, which is 6x, and take out or divide that 3, I'm going to put parentheses here. This is everything I'm taking out of this binomial. So if I were to take out a 3 from this 6x, what would be left is 2. But also the x. I did not take out the x. If I see a plus sign here, I'm going to take out a plus sign here. Now, be careful with this one. Yes, you are taking out a 3, but you can't just leave it blank. What you're really doing is saying, what is 3 divided by 3, which is 1. So this is the factored answer to 6x plus 3. An easy way to check to make sure that you did this correctly is to reverse the problem. In other words, go back and use distributive property and see if you get the same thing here. So if I took 3 and then parentheses 2x plus 1 and went back and did distributive property, 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 1 is plus 3. I know I get the same answer. So my answer had to have been 3 times parentheses 2x plus 1. All right? All right. Next example, again, it's another binomial, but this one has some letters that they have in common. So I'm basically finding the GCF, or greatest common factor, of 8 and 12. What's the highest number that goes into 8 and 12? Well, that should be 4, so I'm going to pull a 4 out, definitely. But then when I look at the x squared and the x, okay, so what's the GCF, or the greatest common factor, of an x squared and x? Well, remember, x squared is really 2x's, x times x. This is a single x, so what these have in common is 1x. So what I can take out is 1x. So I'm going to pull out an x. Then I'm going to put parentheses. And really, whatever it is you factored out, a 4 and an x, you're really dividing both of these terms by that. So if I were to look at this first one, if I just did 8 divided by 4, that should give me 2. Now, if I'm taking out 1x from an already existing x squared, if I took away 1x, I should just have 1x left over. I see a minus sign. I'm going to put a minus sign here. 12 divided by 4 should just be 3. I have 1x here. I'm taking 1x away. I don't have any x's left. So this here is the best that I can do. And again, what I would do, if that is my factored answer, I would use distributive property to check it. It should take me back to where I started. 4x times 2x is 8x squared. 4x times a minus 3 should be a minus 12x. That's where you started, so you know that's your correct answer. All right? Okay. This one's a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging. So look at your numbers first. You've got a 9, a 45, and a 63. So you got to find the GCF of 9, 45, and 63. Well, that should be 9. 9 goes into 45, 9 goes into 63, so I know I'm going to pull out a 9. Look at the letters. That first term has 3 A's. That second term has 2 A's. And that third term has 1A. And really, if you'll notice, what they all have in common is at least 1A. What you're really doing is taking the lowest exponent. Remember, this A here is to the first power. So you're taking out 1a. You don't need to put a 1 there. Look at the b's. The first term has 1b. The second term has 4 b's. And the last guy, or the last term, also has 4 b's. Well, if they were sitting around at a party, they all three couldn't talk about having 4 b's. The guy on the far left only has 1, so what they have in common is 1b. And then look at the last one, the c's. First term has 5, second term has 3, and the third term has 2. So what do they all three at least have in common? 2 c's. So it'd be c squared. Draw your parentheses. This one's going to be a little bit bigger because you got 3 terms. What you're really doing, and you don't have to write this every time, is you're dividing everything by 9ab c squared. And again, some of y'all have done this before. You don't need to write it. I just do it to double check myself. ab c squared. And this would be 9ab c squared. All right, so when I look at this first term here, the 9's canceled, 9 divided by 9. Look at the a's. I had 3, I took 1 out, so I should only have a squared. Look at the b's. There was 1 on top, 1 on the bottom. They canceled. Look at the c's. You had 5, you took away 2. That's all that's left. All right, look at the next term. There's a plus sign, put a plus sign. All right, 45 divided by 9 is 5. Look at the a's. You had 2, you took out 1, 1a. Look at the b's. You had 4, you took out 1, 3 b's. Look at the c's. You had 3, you took out 2, 1 c left. Minus sign, minus sign. All right, let's look at this last term. 63 and 9. 63 divided by 9 should be 7. Look at the a's. You had 1 on top, you took 1 away on the bottom, nothing left. Look at the b's. You had 4, you took away 1, 3 b's left. Look at the c's. You had 2, you took away 2, there's nothing left. There's your answer right there. And again, if you want to go back, I'm not going to rewrite everything here and do distributive property and check it. It should give you the exact same answer. All right, there's that one. And what do we have? 2 more. All right, this one doesn't have as large a numbers. So you need to find a GCF for 12, 16, and 24. All right. Well, 8 goes into 24 and 16, but it doesn't go into 12. Let's see, 6 goes into 12 and 24, but 6 doesn't go into 16, so I'm working my way down. Looks like my GCF, the highest number that goes into 12 and 16 is 4, so I'm going to pull out a 4. This one's not too bad because I only have the letter x. First term only has 3 x's. Second term has 2. Third term has 1. So the most that they have in common is 1x. It's always the lowest exponent. So in other words, the single x. So again, draw parentheses. And what you're really doing is dividing everything by 4x. All right, so look at this first term. 12 divided by 4, 3. You had 3 x's, you took out 1, x squared. Plus sign, plus sign. 16 divided by 4 is 4. You had 2 x's, you took out 1, should just be x. Minus sign, minus sign. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Well, wait a minute, I had 1 x, but I took 1 away. There's no x's left. That should be my answer right there. All right. And last one. And again, you guys can always go back and just distribute that. And it should, if you distribute the 4x to the 3x squared, the 4x, and the minus 6, it should take you back to where you started. Same thing here. We just have x's and y's this time. So I need a GCF between 42 and 56. All right. So again, 2 works. 6 will work for 42, but not 56. But what about 7? 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 8 is 56. So we're going to pull out a 7. This guy has 4 x's. This guy has 3. So what they all have in common is 3 x's. And look at y's. First term has 6. Second term has 2. so they at least have 2 in common. Make your parentheses. And what you're really doing is dividing both of these by 7x to the third y squared. And again, you don't have to write that, but I just do it to double check myself. Okay, so look at this first one. 42 divided by 7 is 6. I had 4 x's, I took away 3, only got 1 left. I had 6 y's, I took away 2, I only have 4 left. And there it is there. Okay, minus sign, minus sign. 56 divided by 7 should be 8. Look at the x's. You had 3, but you took away 3, so nothing left. Oh, let's go to the y's. Wait a minute. You had 2, but you took away 2, so you have nothing left. That's it. That's the best you can do. All right. All right, what I'm going to do is give you some problems in Schoology that'll look just like this. I will open it up as soon as the notes are done. And once you guys submit, be careful with these. Once you submit these answers, that's pretty much it. So take your time on it. So again, it'll say August 18th assignment, and it'll be right in Schoology, but it'll be posted right after these notes. So if you have any questions, email me. Otherwise, good luck. Thanks.